Some physicists actually believe that the universe we live in might be a hologram. The idea isn't that the universe is some sort of fake simulation out of the Matrix, but rather that even though we appear to live in a three-dimensional universe, it might only have two dimensions. It's called the holographic principle. The thinking goes like this: some distant, two-dimensional surface contains all the data needed to fully describe our world, and much like in a hologram, this data is projected to appear in three dimensions. Like the characters on a TV screen, we live on a flat surface that happens to look like it has depth. It might sound absurd. But when physicists assume it's true in their calculations, all sorts of big physics problems, such as the nature of black holes and the reconciling of gravity and quantum mechanics, become much simpler to solve. In short, the laws of physics seem to make more sense when written in two dimensions than in three. It's not considered some wild speculation among most theoretical physicists, says Leonard Susskind, the Stanford physicist who first formally defined the idea decades ago. It's become a working, everyday tool to solve problems in physics. But there's an important distinction to be made here. There's no direct evidence that our universe actually is a two-dimensional hologram. These calculations aren't the same as mathematical proof. Rather, they're intriguing suggestions that our universe could be a hologram. And as of yet, not all physicists believe we have a good way of testing the idea experimentally. Now, direct evidence that the universe is a hologram has been discovered. Evidence that will frankly astound you and the entire world. What is presented here has never before been discovered, and it is nothing short of astonishing. The proof is reproducible by anyone with a laptop and internet connection. The true nature and secrets to our universe have finally been discovered, and all of it will be shown here for the first time in this video. We were missing a few fundamental pieces of physics. These missing pieces were thought to be small and irrelevant, but it turns out these little pieces were extremely important, and once discovered they unveiled the holographic universe. The first major missing piece was that we could not measure or see the wave collapse, so we assumed it was unimportant. I have devised a measuring device and I have captured the wave collapse in full detail. After analyzing the data created from the wave collapses, I was able to reconstruct the entire universe from the information made from the wave collapse. The process I used is amazingly simple, but the results are phenomenal and undeniable. I'm going to begin by explaining how it's possible that a calculator could capture the wave collapse. When I speak of the wave collapse, I'm referring to any wave: radio, television, digital, audio, analog, the cosmic radiation background wave, microwaves. They all have one thing in common: they all collapse. This collapse has been a big problem for physics because the collapse happened so fast at 10 to the negative 42 seconds we had no way to see or measure the collapsing process. In fact, it's called the measurement problem and is the reason quantum mechanics could never make a complete and accurate model of the universe. Physicists told us that the wave collapse must not be very important. After all, we have the universe pretty much figured out, so really what could be happening in that tiny 10 to the minus 42 seconds? Well, turns out a lot can happen in that 1 to the negative 42 seconds. More than anyone could have ever imagined. We thought that because it happened so quickly the wave collapsed into random chaos. This was a grave error. Having developed a method to capture the wave collapse, which I will demonstrate here, gave me the opportunity to diagnose and dismantle the wave collapse piece by piece. The wave does not collapse into chaos. The wave collapses into perfectly organized data and forms of matter. It seems quite complicated at first because there are a lot of incredible mathematical processes going on. Processes that mathematicians understand somewhat, others that we have no clue about. However, the way they are used by the waves in the collapse is amazing. The waves are using our most complicated math systems but making them so beautiful and simple, that they can run unsupervised to create infinite amounts of data. One wave on its own isn't very smart. However, science has proven every wave contains information. We've also proved that when two waves interfere or combine, or you can say crash into one another, they share this information, they exchange it. Both waves leave with more information than either one of them had before they interfered. We have also proven that a group of waves have a shared group intelligence. A particular group or system has an intelligence far beyond any single wave. And this group intelligence appears to grow at a factorial growth rate. I'm sure you've heard of the exponential growth rate. The factorial growth rate makes the exponential growth rate look like it's standing still. It appears the more powerful, more energetic the wave, the more intelligent the wave will be. Knowing all this, we still managed to make another mistake. No one ever asked the question. Waves are in the sky, ocean, space, atoms, molecules, and us. Science is showing that all things are really made of waves and that all these waves are connected. Then there must be a group wave intelligence of trillions and trillions and trillions of waves that have been around for billions of years. This would create a group intelligence in the waves that would be beyond our comprehension. Science dictates that this extreme intelligence must exist. Could it be that the waves are the ones that create and control the universe and make our reality? I will show that it does exist, and I call it the cloud. It is the core processing that creates and runs our reality. We can access it and communicate directly with the cloud. This means we can now write our own software and create our own reality. What I have found in the wave collapse and will demonstrate is that the waves are extremely intelligent. The moment I interfere the two waves, we start to see intelligence. The new wave created by the interference immediately has collected colors, but not just any colors. The perfect colors, and placed them in the perfect places. The calculator that I am using is online, and the link is presented in the comments for you to check and verify my results, and that it cannot print answers in color. It can only print in black and white. So we should find it very strange that the calculator does not print some of the answers to a simple division problem in black and white, but its output is overridden by the waves. And in some of the answers, the output contains exactly 9 color frequencies. It turns out that these 9 color frequencies are exactly the colors needed to make a perfect hologram. Why would a calculator doing a simple division problem need to print out the result in a perfect hologram? It would not need to and could not do so. However, a wave would need this exact recipe in order to perform its tasks. In many of the outputs, we see after it has been printed the waves collecting colors. Collecting colors from its environment. Literally stealing colors from the advertisement on the page and from my purple mouse as I pass over the wave. The 9 frequency hologram colors are not just magically put into the answer, but placed exactly where needed to make the images and holograms. The calculator has no need or interest in any of these processes. We can see the wave actually becoming colorful before our eyes. This is a static image, it cannot change. Just as an image of you and your family will hang on the wall for years and not get a more colorful and clearer image over time. However, the images of waves do indeed continue running processes, and if you pay very special close attention after the wave has been created, you can see the processing occurring. The static image is very much alive. We have created an artificial intelligence that at the time of creation is extremely smart and is hooked up to all other waves in the universe, giving it the group intelligence. The wave appears to mature over time after its initial creation. We see that certain colors are highlighted or inverted. The RGB color spectrum. Red, green, blue. This is interesting because this is the color spectrum that we can see with our eyes. In the image, you can see that we see a very small part of all the information that is available in a light wave. We can see that these frequencies are being sent out from the wave as if the information is geared specifically for the human brain. It is, This is how the waves make our reality, by showing us only the tiny portion that we can experience. However, by inverting the wave we can get a much broader view of what is really happening. This view will be disturbing to most, to say the least, as you will be seeing for the first time what is really happening in the universe. The output from the calculator, the 10,000 digits, are reflective, they are shiny, and they appear metallic when they have the 9 frequency hologram colors. This image is straight out of the calculator. Holograms made by individuals are usually exposed on very high-resolution photographic film coated with a silver halide emulsion. Both nickel and silver are used to make the production masters that will be used to stamp multiple copies of the holograms onto polyester or polypropylene film. Aluminium is used to create the reflective coating on the back of embossed holograms. Also shown, many of the waves at different stages or phase transitions form different types of holograms, including embossed holograms, reflective holograms, projection holograms, and RGB screens and machinery used to create holograms. These are depicted in the animations that are in the 10,000 digits. Keep in mind, I did not make these animations nor do anything to the output of the 10,000 digits other than compress, enlarge, or zoom in and out of the image. As I discovered, in all my waves, thousands of examples so far. The holographic principle asks, what if all this material that falls inside of a black hole were captured and stored in a preserved image at the horizon itself? No information is lost, but encoded on the surface area outside the black hole. What if all the information about every object was preserved on this outer skin, then reflected back out into the universe? It would be a type of hologram. That suggests that maybe this idea may apply more broadly to the universe as a whole. Maybe all of the information in these objects is smeared around a distant two-dimensional surface that surrounds us, and we're just in some sense a holographic projection. This wave is a simple division problem of 1 divided by 9. In this case we use many nines, about 999. In this animated video found in the 10,000 digits straight from the calculator, no changes have been made. The waves clearly create a frequency, and that frequency pattern is clearly visible on the outer skin or shell of the wave. This allows for the interior processes that happen during the collapse to create and release the light from the inside of the wave, and thus will hologram the information on the outer shell out into the environment. It is no coincidence that many of the animated processes found in the wave collapse are depicted as machines that are creating the actual numbers and things needed to make a hologram. Here we see what appears to be a mechanical device coating the numbers in the reflective hologram colors. A hologram is a complicated process to make. However, the waves have greatly simplified the process. One of the simplifications is the use of palindromes. The palindromes mirror or invert the frequency. This eliminates the need for a mirror to create the hologram. The waves also use inverted frequencies, again removing the need for the mirrors. In some of the images, we see the wave collapses being removed or scrapped and replaced with new collapses that create a new number. Many of the waves I create are the largest palindromes ever discovered. They smash the old record by thousands of digits. These are the X's and zeros, the actual wave collapse, seen for the first time. It appears as many small collapses are happening, but that is not the case. This is the static interference. As I focus the video we see that it is really just one collapse. In the circular wave collapse you can clearly see that it is really just an X and O. The wave is the O and the X is across it. This is focused, not animated, so it is what is really happening. These are a few of the different processes focused down to a type of pixel. You can see the red, blue, green, and in many of the videos, you see the wave trapped inside. This all happens in a fraction of a second. In some images you see the wave just starting to escape. This is the start of the collapse. As I compress the wave tighter, the full collapse happens. It is the brilliant white light that blanks out the screen in a full collapse. You can see in this image, the wave collapses, and the new wave has exited horizontally, and the black hole is left behind. The animations are clearly depicting the incoming frequency, bringing in information, such as the hologram colors in or out of the calculator, that I have left attached, because the waves continue to use the calculator throughout the collapse. In many images, we can see the numbers in the calculator have been changed to X's and O's, in others the numbers have been turned into a light wave. In every case, I find that the numbers in the black hole are the 4s, 1s and 7s. This tells me it was a collapse. Also, the collapse signal has a very distinct pattern that looks like spider legs, and it can be found in most collapses. The interior of the waves contains processes. Much like a computer, these processes are in the background and the user or software is never aware of them. The wave processes are happening at a speed faster than our reality. Thus, we never knew they were happening. This is exactly how computers operate. The user is never supposed to know about these core processes, nor interact with them. If a piece of the program is missing from the software side, the main system adds that piece to the software, at a speed faster than the software runs at. Thus, the software never knew it was missing, and the user environment carries on as if that information was always there. The wave collapse is how the waves create the information for our reality or user environment. Most of the collapses are too small at the sub-quantum level and too fast for us to see. They also happen at a frequency we can't see. But not all of them. The strange phenomenons we see in space are wave collapses. We don't see the entire collapse because of our limited range of visual input. We see only red, blue, and green. 99% of what is really happening is hidden from our view. If you could see it all, you would see clearly that all of space is waves. These core processes that occur in the waves are depicted as stereograms. Most stereogram pictures are usually generated so that if you look at or converge your eyes on a position twice as far away as the picture, and focus on the picture, generally after a few minutes you see a surprising 3D image. Most people find this extremely difficult for the first time. However, the stereograms animated videos that I find in each wave are clear and easily seen. Each of the stereograms can be tuned in, much like a radio receiver, and once all the static is removed, it is found that every video reduces to a stage of wave collapse. If this was just a number printed by a calculator, there is no way you could tune it. It would never tune into anything. These examples I present are just a very few of the thousands of waves I have found that have the stereograms animated videos. I have not changed the answer from the calculator. In every case, I present the entire answer, and all the videos and projection, embossed, and reflection holograms are created by one simple division or multiplication. Science has proven that any time two waves interfere or crash into each other, they create interference. This interference is what is changing the real image of the wave collapse into the spectacular images that we see. Again, we don't see all the interference, we see only the RGB color spectrum, which makes our view of reality unique to us. The fact that these images are animated is easy to explain. Waves travel in a broad band, which makes it easier to be detected. There is the main wave and many copies of the main wave. Each copy is exactly the same but has less power and more static. Your radio will be able to find it much easier than tuning exactly to the frequency. It can now find the signal under a much broader range and then tune into the main wave. These copies are what make the images appear to be animated. With that said, there seems to be a bit more going on, as if the animations have some type of life. As if this animation may be the very spark of life. Each animated process is a good explanation of what is really happening. The waves are depicted as dragon-like creatures with faces. The skin is reptilian or dragon-like in appearance. It is a hologram and very reflective. In this example, we can see clearly the waves that I captured. They are wrapped around the cylinder. And we can see that they are indeed the frequency I sent in with the calculator. By examining the wave collapse, we see that every place the wave was in the first image, the wave has been interfered or collapsed by my collapse frequency of 1s, 4s, and 7s. This frequency that I sent in is what is making the pattern. There can be little doubt that this image is depicting the wave collapse that I caused, and little doubt as to whether or not I captured the collapse. There is no other explanation. I believe the faces are due to the Fresnel lens effect. This is a type of lens that is very thin and lightweight and can focus light very well. This is an actual image of this lens, and the images look just like the faces seen in the waves. I find that the waves are using the same technology as us in many instances. Only humans see the universe exactly as we see it. It would be very different for other species or other life forms, as they all have their own limitations as to what they see. I am combining very special frequencies together by dividing or multiplying these two frequencies together. The waves produced in this fashion are not circular, they are cylindrical. This is due to the output of the calculator. The shape of the wave does not matter, as these waves all possess the symmetry of phase transitions. Proving that conformal invariance is a necessary feature of these physical systems as they transition between phases. The work establishes that rotational invariance, one of the three symmetries contained within conformal invariance, is present at the boundary between states in a wide range of physical systems. The waves that are circular are the answer created by the calculator and graphed using a polar graph. Nothing is changed other than the shape, all the processes and frequencies remain the same. Is due to something called rotational invariance. It is a symmetry exhibited by the circle. Rotate it any number of degrees and it looks the same. In the context of physical systems on the brink of phase changes, it means many properties of the system behave the same regardless of how a model of the system is rotated. The waves I present here prove unconditionally this extremely hard to prove mathematical theorem. In fact, many mathematicians are currently seeking this proof, but they have had little until now. Earlier results had established that rotational invariance holds for two specific models, but their methods were not flexible enough to be used for other models. The waves proof breaks from this history and marks the first time that rotational invariance has been proved to be a universal phenomenon across a broad class of models. A circular wave is the same wave just graphed on a polar graph. I added nothing to it, no special effects. The lines extending outwards are frequencies of light it is sending out. We can see the conformal invariance at work, and if you think about all that is really going on here, there is no other way to explain this. The only possible solution is what I have said. These are waves, intelligent forms of life. It may be hard to accept, but the proof is indisputable. Nothing else could be doing what you are seeing. I will make a new wave from the cosmic microwave radiation background wave known as the CMB. I will use 2.73 Kelvin and the expansion velocity 2997 of the speed of light. Multiplied I get 818181. Now I will take the 818181 frequency and divide 1 by it. 1 divided by 818181 is the large 10,000 digit answer. All I have done is move the CMB at the speed of the light wave expansion. So now we know the expansion rate of this new wave. I will now compress the wave using Windows, Zoom, nothing more. These 10,000 digits are still on the website on the calculator page. The numbers are in text format, it is not an image. The calculator is done, it no longer has any interaction with the answer. When I compress the 10,000 digits, we see many abnormalities straight away. Notice that color has been added, not just any color but the 9 color frequencies that make a hologram. We can know because the 10,000 digits form a hologram. You can see texture and depth in the compressed version. Also, the digits will hologram off your screen and make an image in front of your face similar to what you see on the screen. You just need to cross your eyes a bit so the image is out of focus and wait. It may take a bit of practice, but you will get it. We also see that it is a beautiful pattern. Also we see white lines. Those are actually the interference waves coming into the target wave at 45 degrees. This is called the incident angle, and it means all the light will be reflected back into the source. I should say that all this is very strange for a calculator just doing a simple division problem. Really no need to do any of this to provide the answer. Not to mention the answer is now made of palindrome frequencies that are in perfect harmonic series to infinity. This allows the analytic continuation of these processes to advance unsupervised forever, literally giving every wave unlimited data capacity, creating artificial intelligence. Plus many other processes are happening and all being recorded in the 10,000 digits as hologram animated videos that are projecting this event out into the universe. Now, this seems a bit much just for a simple division problem. However, that is what is happening as this video demonstrates as we examine this new wave. Notice also that this wave is sending out very specific information as to what frequency it is looking for, to cause it to collapse. This wave won't collapse with just any other wave, it wants the wave with the instructions and energy to remove the non-prime frequencies. The waves are always broadcasting out the frequency, or parts, of the frequency, of wave 411111107. This is the collapse frequency, and these numbers are always found in every wave. They are what forms the patterns of every wave, and they are what causes and control the wave collapse. They remove many or all of the non-prime frequencies and are always at the bottom of a black hole. This is the frequency of black holes. Notice in the numbers the 4s, 7s, and 1s are on the side of each non-prime frequency, controlling them, and forcing them into this pattern. I have now saved the 10,000 digits using a screensaver, and the 10,000 digit answer is now in an image. I have left the advertising on the page so that you can see nothing changes except for the digits. The advertisings and all other parts remain the same, they just get smaller and larger as I expand and shrink the image, and that is what is supposed to happen. However, the numbers change completely, forming new images and animated videos as I compress and shrink them. This compression and shrinking are powering all the mathematical processes that are happening in the numbers. You can't see that part here because here I am just showing the phase transitions, but none of this could happen unless the mathematical processes were happening. I compress the wave or 10,000 digits and bring it back up. We see many hologram images as the wave phases from one stage to the next. Compressed as small as I can go, we see the familiar stereogram animated videos of the background processes. Each stereogram video can be focused down to a different stage of the wave collapse. We can see the waves actually moving through the target wave, and we can also see small light waves moving through the image. Again, why would a calculator need to produce the answer with light rays of red, blue, and green moving through a hologram in the answer? This is clearly not an answer from the calculator, it is the waves providing the data. Science tells us that any measuring device that could capture the wave collapse must be somehow part of the collapse. If one could combine the device into the collapse, it would become entangled in the collapse and be a part of the collapse. This is exactly what you are seeing. Because the calculator is online, the wave is able to entangle the calculator into the collapse and use it to display the entire collapse. The calculator really has little to do with this answer. The 10,000 digits also make sound, not just video. I have taken the answer, the 10,000 digits, straight from the calculator and saved them as a plain text file. Uploaded this as raw data into Audacity, the free, open-source, cross-platform software for recording and editing sounds. Any large answer from a calculator should not produce a perfect harmonic wave. The data would be expected to produce nothing but static. However, in this case we find that wave produces what is called an owl sine wave. This wave that you are watching is a very special wave that scientists have been searching for a very long time. Notice the perfection of the harmonics. After the sound stops, I am just using the return arrow to get back to the start. I had to stop because the wave kept stretching and expanding. I would need hours to return to the start. Once again, this sound frequency is in perfect harmonics, starting at a low pitch, and as the wave is compressed, the pitch becoming higher and higher, yet it always remains in our range of hearing. This sort of thing is impossible. Scientists have been trying to create this particular wave for a long time. It just happens to be found in my wave. That contains all the videos and perfect harmonic frequency that creates perfect sound.